All right, so everyone's been asking about making money on Instagram's new Threads app, and we've got a ton of research for this deep dive. A YouTube tutorial, some marketing articles, and even a full guide. But the really interesting thing is that Threads hit 100 million users even faster than ChatGPT. So is it just another time suck, or can you actually turn it into profit?
Well, what I think is fascinating here is how Threads is designed for such a specific kind of interaction. Text updates, public conversations, building a following. It's almost like Twitter, but much more connected to your Instagram.
Okay, so then why all the buzz? It seems like new platforms are popping up all the time. What makes Threads special? Especially when it comes to making money.
Well, one source even called Threads a potential Twitter killer. The crazy growth is definitely eye-catching. And the fact that it's still so new means there's way less competition. There's just much more opportunity to stand out. And that's what gets people so interested. Getting in early when there's still room to make a splash.
Yeah, that makes sense. Less competition means more people are going to see your content. But how do we actually turn those eyeballs into dollars? I'm guessing it's not as easy as just posting a few threads and waiting for the cash to roll in.
You're exactly right. One of the most talked about ways to make money on Threads is through the Threads bonus program. It's an invite-only program that's run by Instagram itself. Just imagine getting paid directly by Instagram for your content. That's pretty cool. But there are a few requirements to be eligible, and one source really dives into those specifics.
Okay, so spill the beans. What do you have to do to qualify for this bonus program? Because invite only sounds pretty exclusive.
Well, it's not just about the number of followers you have, although that definitely is part of it. It seems like Instagram is really looking for creators who are consistently posting really high quality content that really sparks engagement. So they're really looking for thought leaders,
Hmm.
trendsetters, people who are really driving conversation and building up a community.
So it's not just about being popular, it's more about providing real value, which makes sense. But it also sounds like a lot of work. So what if I don't get an invite to this exclusive club? Are there other ways to make money on Threads?
Absolutely. You don't have to rely on the bonus program at all. In fact, every single source that we looked at had the same message. Creating engaging, high-quality content is the key. It really is the foundation for any successful monetization strategy. I like to think of it like building a house. The content is your foundation.
So content is king. I hear that all the time. But it's easier said than done. Did any of the sources give examples of what engaging content actually looks like on Threads?
Well, one of the sources is a YouTuber, and they use Threads to drive traffic to their main channel. They share little snippets of their videos or give behind-the-scenes looks at their process. It's a really clever way to leverage Threads to build an audience somewhere else.
That's a really good strategy, especially if you're making most of your money somewhere else. But what if I actually want to make money directly from Threads? What are my options beyond the bonus program?
Well, one popular method is affiliate marketing. You basically find some cool products that you like, share them with your followers, and then you can earn a commission on any sales that are made through your specific link. Actually, the YouTuber we just mentioned uses affiliate marketing pretty effectively. He promotes stuff on Amazon, for example.
So I could recommend like books or gadgets or even clothes, anything I really like. And I could actually make money if my followers buy those things through my link. That's pretty neat. But I gotta say, I've always been a little skeptical of affiliate marketing. Doesn't it feel a little salesy?
Yeah, it definitely can, which is why being authentic is so important. People can always spot a fake recommendation. You really need to be genuine. Choose products that you actually believe in, and then integrate them naturally into your content. One source even suggested focusing on storytelling, like weaving the product into a personal story or experience that your audience can really connect with.
That's a good point. It can't just be about slapping an affiliate link on everything you post.
Yeah.
You got to be more thoughtful. So what other options are there?
Another route you could explore is influencer marketing. As you build a following on Threads, brands might reach out to you for paid collaborations, and they might offer you money to feature their products or services in your posts.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But one source did mention that brands are sometimes hesitant to invest in newer platforms. Did any of the sources talk about that concern?
Yeah, a few actually. It seems like some brands are kind of taking a wait and see approach with Threads, especially those bigger, more established brands. They want to see how Threads evolves, and they want to see how users are engaging with it before they commit a lot of money.
That makes sense. So it might be easier to land a collaboration with a smaller brand or a startup. They might be more willing to experiment with a new platform.
Exactly. And they might be much more open to working with micro-influencers. Those are people who have a smaller following but are really highly engaged.
So it's not just about having a massive number of followers, it's more about having the right audience.
Exactly. It's all about quality over quantity.
This is giving me a lot to think about. We've got affiliate marketing, influencer marketing. What are some other ways we can make money directly from Threads?
You could always promote your own products or services, whether it's an online store or online courses, or even something like an OnlyFans account.
Hmm.
Threads can be a really powerful tool to get the word out and attract customers.
Oh, right. That's perfect for anyone who's building their own brand. Entrepreneurs, small businesses, creators. But how do you stand out from the crowd when everyone and their grandma is on social media these days?
Is the million-dollar question. But one thing that came up again and again in the research is the importance of consistency. You can't just post every once in a while and expect to see results. One source even said it's like a king needing his queen. Content is king. But he needs his queen consistency.
Okay. That's actually a tactic I could see myself using. I'm always struggling to be consistent. Life just gets so busy. How do I stay on top of things when I've got a million other things going on?
Scheduling tools can really help. One source recommended using a Threads scheduler. It lets you plan out and schedule all your posts in advance. Just imagine sitting down once a week, figuring out all your content, writing all your captions, and then just letting the scheduler take care of everything. It takes all the pressure off of having to come up with something brilliant every single day.
That sounds like a lifesaver, especially for those of us who are juggling multiple projects and just trying to stay organized. So I'm loving everything I'm hearing about Threads. Seem to be so many possibilities, and it's not as overwhelming as I thought it would be.
It's definitely worth looking into, especially while it's still relatively new. But remember, success on Threads, just like any other platform, takes real effort and strategy. It's not some get-rich-quick scheme, but with the right approach, it can be a super powerful tool to build your brand and boost your income.
That's a great point. We've got to be willing to put in the work. But with the right tools and a bit of creativity, it sounds like Threads could be a real winner. So how about we dive into some of those specific strategies?
Let's do it. One that really stood out to me was the idea of using Threads to promote SaaS products, software as a service.
SaaS products, I'm picturing like giant spreadsheets and complicated software. How does that even work on a platform like Threads? It's all about these like quick little conversations.
Well, you might be surprised. One source had a really cool example. Let's say you've got like a project management app. Instead of trying to sell it directly, you could post threads about, productivity hacks, time management strategies, or even effective team collaboration techniques. Basically, you'd be establishing yourself as like an expert, and you're giving people valuable content, stuff that would attract people who are already interested in those topics.
Oh, that's a good point. So it's not just about shouting, buy my software.
Right.
It's more about subtly positioning yourself as like a helpful resource. But I still don't really get how you would connect those helpful tips back to your actual product. Wouldn't those posts kind of get lost in the feed?
Not necessarily. You can just weave in mentions of your product in a natural way. For example, you could say something like, juggling multiple projects. I use name of your app to stay organized and on track. Here are a few of my favorite features. You see?
Ah, I get it. So you're not being pushy, but you are showing people how your product can actually solve a problem for them.
Exactly. It's about giving value first, and then showing how your product can make things even better. You could also share user success stories. Show how your software has helped people achieve their goals. People love to see how others are benefiting from a product.
Yeah, that makes sense. Real stories, real results. That's always more compelling than just listing features. But isn't Threads mainly a text-based platform? How do you incorporate visuals? Because those are usually super important for showing people how software works.
Well, don't forget, you can still add images and videos to your threads. Get creative. You could showcase your software in action with a screen recording. Or create some really eye-catching graphics. Maybe even make some short tutorials. Show off the value.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could work. You just have to adapt your marketing to the format. So we talked about SaaS. What about e-commerce? How can someone selling physical products make the most of Threads?
One of our sources, who's a marketing expert, suggested creating buzz around new product launches. Use Threads to tease what's coming, share sneak peeks, maybe even run a contest to get people excited.
Ooh, contests are always fun. People love to win stuff. Plus, it gets people talking about your brand.
Yeah.
Did that source have any other tips for e-commerce businesses?
They also really emphasize offering special discounts to your Threads followers. Make them feel like they're part of a special club. Everybody loves a deal. Plus, it creates that sense of urgency.
I could see how that would work. It's like a flash sale email.
Exactly.
But tailored for Threads. What about customer reviews? Those are always so important for e-commerce.
Absolutely. Encourage those happy customers to share their experiences on Threads. You know, those authentic testimonials, they go a long way. You could even repost positive reviews from other places, show off that social proof.
It's all about building trust, especially when you're asking people to spend money. Okay, so we've talked about SaaS and e-commerce. What about professional services? How can freelancers and consultants and coaches use Threads to attract clients?
That's a great question. It might seem tricky, but it all comes down to showcasing your expertise and connecting with potential clients, and doing it in a way that feels real, sharing insights about your field, offering tips, getting into conversations where you can show off your knowledge. It's all content marketing, just on Threads.
Content marketing on Threads. That's interesting. But how do you actually turn that into paying clients? It's not like you can just post, hire me.
Definitely not. One source, she's a marketing consultant. She uses Threads to share tips on social media strategy, or she runs polls to get insights into audience preferences. It's about showing your expertise and building credibility, not just saying, hey, hire me.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that kind of content just get lost on Threads? It's such a fast-paced platform.
Well, that's where strategy comes in. You can pin important threads to the top of your profile, so they're always visible. You can also use the reply feature to create threaded conversations. And of course, consistency is key.
So it's all about using the platform's features strategically. But how do you make your content stand out? Do the sources talk about creating the unique voice or style?
Yeah, a lot of them emphasized being authentic and letting your personality shine through. Don't be afraid to get a little personal, and share your own experiences, your challenges, your successes. People connect with that realness. It helps them see you as a human being, not just some random service provider.
It's all about building relationships, which leads to trust, and hopefully clients. So we've covered SaaS products, e-commerce, professional services. Are there any other big strategies we should touch on before we wrap things up?
One more that's essential for any business or individual on Threads: collaborations and partnerships. Team up with other creators or brands to make content together, maybe co-host events, or just cross-promote each other's work.
Yeah, two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
It's all about leveraging each other's audiences.
Exactly. And this works especially well if you can find partners who have a similar target audience as you, but they offer something different. So for example, a fitness coach could partner with a meal prep company, or a graphic designer could partner with a web developer.
I love that. It's a win-win for everyone. You get in front of new people, and your followers discover new stuff they might be interested in.
Exactly. It's all about community and value. But remember, creating good content consistently is key. And one source had a great tip for managing that.
A tip? I'm all ears, especially if it makes my life easier.
This one might do just that. They said using a scheduling tool is a game changer.
A scheduler for Threads. I didn't even know that was a thing. Tell me more.
So imagine this. You plan out your entire week's worth of Threads content in advance. You figure out all your themes, write your captions, and even schedule the exact times you want your post to go live. It's like having a personal assistant for your Threads account.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Especially for those of us who, let's be honest, aren't always super organized.
One of the sources actually recommended a specific tool called Schedule. It's got all these features, like you can manage multiple accounts, track your analytics, and it can even suggest the best times to post.
Wow. So it's not just scheduling, it's like optimizing your whole content strategy. I'm definitely going to check that out.
I think you'll like it. It can really free up a lot of your time.
Okay, so we've explored tons of strategies and tools for making money on Threads. As we wrap up this section of the deep dive, what are the big takeaways? What should our listeners remember as they start using Threads?
Well, the most important thing is that Threads offers a lot of different ways to make money. It's not one size fits all.
Right. We've seen how to promote software, sell products, offer services. Each approach is a little different.
Exactly. And the key is to find the approach that works best for you and for your audience.
And don't forget, be consistent. Use tools to stay organized. But I feel like there's something bigger here. Something about the spirit of Threads.
Yeah, I think you're right. One of the coolest things about Threads is that it's still really new, which means there's so much potential for people to try new things.
So it's not just about following the same old formulas. It's about experimenting and finding new ways to connect with people.
Exactly. We've talked about some of the established ways to make money. But the people who really succeed, they're going to be the ones who think outside the box. They'll experiment with new approaches. And they'll find those unique angles that make them stand out.
It's all about finding your own voice and your own path. That's what makes Threads so exciting. It's a blank canvas.
Exactly. It's an invitation to be creative, to be yourself, and to connect with people in new ways.
Well, on that note of excitement and possibility, I think it's time to shift gears a little bit. Let's explore what makes Threads so unique compared to all the other social media platforms out there. All right, so we've talked about all these amazing ways to make money on Threads, but what is it about this platform that makes it so unique? What sets it apart from all the other social media giants out there?
Well, one of the things that I find really interesting about Threads is its focus on text. It's really all about communication, sharing quick thoughts, and having these like real-time discussions.
So no more perfectly filtered photos or super produced videos. It's back to the basics of writing. I have to admit, that's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, it is. And even though it's focused on text, that doesn't mean it has to be boring.
Yeah.
You can still be super creative with your language,
Yeah.
your tone, and the types of conversations you're starting.
I'm starting to see why people like it. It's like going back to the early days of social media.
Yeah.
Back when it was all about connecting with people through real conversations. Remember when we used to write blog posts and have these like thoughtful discussions in the comments?
Exactly. And I think that's what draws a lot of people to Threads. It's a break from all the pressure to create this perfect content. It's about just being yourself
Yeah.
and engaging with people through your words.
That makes a lot of sense. So if I'm thinking about making money on Threads, I need to focus on building those real connections and giving people value through what I write. No more hiding behind fancy visuals.
Exactly. It's all about offering something that people actually find valuable, whether it's your expertise, your insights, or even just your unique point of view.
Okay, I'm in. But give me some examples. How can I actually use those ideas to make money, no matter what kind of business I have or what I do?
Let's go back to those use cases we were talking about earlier. Let's say you're trying to promote a sauce product. Instead of just listing a bunch of features, you could start threads, asking people what features they'd actually like to see, or you could do a poll to see if people are interested in new tools. You could even offer exclusive beta access to your Threads followers. Make them feel like they're part of the process.
That's so smart. You're basically turning your audience into a source of feedback and ideas.
Right.
And it makes them feel special,
Yep.
like they're part of a community.
Now let's say you have an e-commerce business. You could announce special flash sales just for your Threads followers. You could give personalized styling advice based on what people have bought before. You could even host live Q&A sessions with your designers or the people who create your products. Give people a behind-the-scenes look at your brand.
So it's all about creating a more personal experience.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about people who offer services?
Well, if you're a freelancer or a consultant, think about sharing stories about how you've helped clients get amazing results. You could offer free mini consultations through Threads. You could even start a weekly thread where you answer questions about your field.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's like a mini masterclass series.
Right. And remember, it's not just about what you share, it's about how you share it. Let your personality come through. Use humor. Tell stories. Ask interesting questions. Make people feel like they're having a conversation with you.
This is giving me so many ideas. I'm starting to see Threads in a whole new way. It's not just another platform to add to my to-do list. It's a chance to actually connect with people.
That's exactly it. And the best part is, this is just the beginning. As more people join Threads and becomes more popular, we're going to see even more creative ways to use it. It's an exciting time.
It really is. I feel like we've just started to explore what Threads can do.
We have. But hopefully this deep dive has given you a good place to start. So remember, be creative, be consistent, and be yourself. And most importantly, have fun.
That's great advice. Thanks for taking us on this journey through Threads. I'm feeling inspired and ready to start building my own success story.
We'll be here cheering you on. Until next time, keep those threads coming.